Every year, thousands of American homes are ravaged by fire, costing lives and billions in damage. We're bombarded with fire safety tips. Check your smoke detectors, watch your cooking, don't leave candles unattended. All crucial advice. But what if the very structure and furnishings of your home are secretly designed to be a fire trap? What if a specific, obscure U.S. law, influenced by powerful, shadowy corporate interests, actively makes your home more flammable, not less, leading to faster spreading fires and more toxic fumes? This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the shocking, documented story of how cynical lobbying corrupted public safety, turning your sanctuary into a hidden fire hazard, a ticking time bomb embedded in the very fabric of your domestic life. This is a profound mega defect, a legislative betrayal that impacts every single one of us. Just as unseen laws and hidden agendas can make your physical home vulnerable, unseen threats lurk in the digital realm, making your online life a perpetual hazard. Without robust, transparent protection, your personal data, your privacy, and even your financial security are constantly at risk. That's why securing your digital footprint is not just smart, it's absolutely essential, a foundational component of modern living. And for that critical layer of defense, I trust and rely on NordVPN. NordVPN encrypts your entire internet connection, creating an ironclad, unbreachable tunnel that shields your online activities from hackers, snoops, data brokers, and even your own internet service provider. It's like installing the ultimate digital fire safety system, protecting against unseen breaches and ensuring your digital home is impregnable. Beyond robust military-grade security, NordVPN allows you to bypass restrictive geo-blocks and online censorship, giving you private and secure access to a truly open internet, unlocking content and services from around the globe, empowering your online experience with unparalleled freedom. With thousands of high-speed servers strategically located worldwide, ensuring blazing fast connections, and a strict, independently audited no-logs policy, NordVPN guarantees your digital life remains private, secure, and under your absolute control across all your devices, from your smartphone to your smart TV. Protect yourself and your family today, and use code MEGADEFECT for up to 73% off, plus 3 extra months. When a fire ignites in a modern home, the speed at which it consumes everything is terrifyingly fast. Gone are the days when you had 10 to 15 minutes to escape. What once took precious minutes now often takes mere seconds. Statistics show that the average time homeowners have to escape a residential fire has plummeted from around 17 minutes in the 1970s to as little as 3 minutes or even less today. Why such a drastic and deadly reduction? It's not just about open-plan designs and lightweight construction, though those certainly contribute to faster structural collapse. A massive, often overlooked factor is the ubiquitous presence of synthetic materials in virtually every aspect of our modern homes. From the polyurethane foam in our furniture and mattresses to the vast array of plastic-heavy electronics, wall coverings, and synthetic textiles, these materials contribute to incredibly rapid fire development. They are designed for durability and cost-effectiveness, but not necessarily for fire resilience. When these synthetic materials burn, they ignite quickly, burn intensely, and produce an alarming amount of thick, black, highly toxic smoke. This smoke isn't just an irritant, it's a deadly cocktail of carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, phosgene, and other noxious gases that can incapacitate or kill long before the flames reach you. This lethal combination drastically reduces critical escape time, transforming what might have been a controllable incident into a deadly inferno in under 3 minutes. This rapid acceleration of fire and the enhanced toxicity of the smoke are the invisible menace, a direct and tragic consequence of the materials we surround ourselves with, and, as you'll soon discover, the questionable regulations that govern their inclusion in our homes. It's a systemic design flaw, a mega defect built into our very concept of modern living. For decades, the powerful and deeply entrenched chemical industry waged an aggressive, secretive, and profoundly deceptive lobbying campaign across the United States. Their singular goal to mandate the widespread use of chemical flame retardants in nearly everything that went into our homes. This wasn't about genuine safety, it was about creating and protecting a multi-billion-dollar market for their products. Companies like the Bromine Science and Environmental Forum, representing manufacturers of brominated flame retardants, along with producers of chlorinated and organophosphate flame retardants, poured immense sums into political campaigns, lobbying firms, and public relations. They fabricated a false narrative of enhanced fire safety. They created fake consumer safety advocacy groups, deceptively named organizations that sounded impartial but were secretly funded by the industry. They commissioned and heavily promoted biased research studies that cherry-pick data or use flawed methodologies to exaggerate the fire-stopping capabilities of their chemicals. They paid experts to testify before Congress and state legislatures, painting a picture of these chemicals as indispensable lifesavers. The ultimate horrifying irony and the profound mega-defect of this legislative success: many of these mandated chemicals are not only largely ineffective at preventing fires, but are also profoundly toxic, posing severe long-term health risks to every member of your family from the moment you bring a new couch into your home. The centerpiece of this lobbying success, and perhaps the most egregious example of regulatory capture, was a specific California regulatory rule. California Technical Bulletin 117, or TB 117. Although it was a California standard due to the state's massive market size, TB 117 became the de facto national standard for upholstered furniture and mattresses across the entire United States. If a manufacturer wanted to sell furniture in California, they had to meet TB 117, so it became easier and more cost-effective to simply apply the standard to all products sold nationwide. The rule mandated that the foam inside upholstered furniture had to withstand a small, open flame for a short period. On the surface, this sounds like a reasonable fire safety measure. However, here's where the insidious mega defect lay. The test specifically applied to the foam, not to the outer fabric of the furniture. The foam was, of course, covered by layers of fabric. The flame retardants added to the foam did almost nothing to stop a small spark, a dropped cigarette ember, or a candle flame from igniting the fabric itself. Once the fabric caught fire, the chemicals in the foam created incredibly toxic smoke, increasing the lethality of the fire, and in some cases even accelerated the release of superheated gases, making the fire spread faster and burn hotter. The chemical industry aggressively fought any attempt to update or revise this rule for over 40 years. Why? Because TB 117 created a captive, multi-billion-dollar market for their chemicals, irrespective of their actual effectiveness in real-world fire scenarios. It was never about genuine public safety. It was purely about protecting massive corporate profits. For over 4 decades, this regulatory loophole persisted, effectively filling virtually every American home with toxic chemicals that demonstrably failed to achieve their stated fire safety purpose. It took decades of relentless, often underfunded activism by independent scientists, professional firefighters, and tireless consumer advocates to finally expose this charade, this legislative deception. Their efforts eventually led to the update of TB 117 in 2013, followed by broader federal legislation in the mid-2010s. But the devastating legacy of widespread exposure and the systemic failures this saga exposed remain potent, unsettling reminders of the overwhelming power of well-resourced industrial lobbying. The independent scientific community, working diligently outside the influence of industry funding, eventually and definitively exposed the corporate fiction surrounding these chemicals. Instead, their pervasive presence led to a host of terrifying and undeniable consequences for public health. When these chemicals burn, they release highly toxic gases that are far more dangerous than the smoke from untreated materials. We're talking about substances like dioxins, furans, polybrominated biphenyls, PBBS, and polybrominated diphenyl ethers, PBDES, compounds known to be incredibly hazardous to human health and the environment. These not only increase the immediate danger for occupants attempting to escape, but also for the brave firefighters who put their lives on the line to combat these infernos. Beyond fire, these chemicals are now definitively known to be endocrine disruptors, meaning they interfere with the body's hormonal system. They are neurotoxicants, impacting brain development and function. They accumulate in our bodies over time, found in our blood, breast milk, and even umbilical cord blood. Exposure has been linked to a shocking array of adverse health outcomes. Developmental problems in children, including lower IQ and behavioral issues like ADHD, reduced fertility and reproductive complications, various forms of cancer, liver damage, and severe neurological disorders. These chemicals migrate out of furniture, mattresses, electronics, and even carpets, creating toxic dust that settles throughout our homes. We unknowingly ingest them through everyday contact, and they become insidious, invisible residents in our bodies. We were forced to pay a hidden tax, not just in dollars, but in public health, for chemicals that didn't work and actively harmed us. A monumental mega defect of public policy that prioritized profit over genuine human well-being. The tragic human cost of this decades-long regulatory negligence and corporate deception is immense and multifaceted. Firefighters, the frontline heroes who rush into these burning homes, are subjected to constant, acute exposure to these burning toxic chemicals. They face significantly elevated rates of cancer, respiratory illnesses, and other serious chronic health conditions, a direct occupational hazard stemming from the pervasive use of these flame retardants. Their sacrifices are compounded by a silent, invisible assailant in the smoke. For families who survive a fire, they are not just left with the devastating ashes and physical destruction, they are often left with toxic residues throughout their property. These residues require extensive, costly, and often complex environmental remediation, adding another layer of financial and emotional burden to an already catastrophic event. The psychological trauma of losing a home is exacerbated by the knowledge that the very materials meant to offer protection may have compounded the disaster. But the impact extends far beyond immediate fire victims. For decades, every child born in America, every family moving into a new home, or buying new furniture has been exposed to these ubiquitous chemicals. This chronic low-level exposure, beginning in utero and continuing throughout life, has led to unknown long-term health consequences that scientists are only now beginning to fully understand and quantify. This is not just a problem for a few unfortunate individuals. It is a widespread public health crisis, a tragic and infuriating example of how a legislative mega defect directly translates into widespread public health and safety crises, all engineered and maintained for the sake of corporate profit. It's a silent epidemic of illness born from regulatory failure. What makes this story even more infuriating is that the United States stood largely alone in its widespread and mandated use of these ineffective and harmful chemical flame retardants. Countries in Europe, as well as Australia and other parts of the developed world, adopted far smarter and more effective fire safety standards decades ago. Their approaches focused on intrinsic fire resistance of materials, using naturally less flammable textiles, and employing physical barrier fabrics that actually prevent ignition rather than adding toxic chemicals to the core foam. This stark international comparison unequivocally highlights the egregious nature of the U.S. regulatory failure, a testament to the disproportionate power of chemical industry lobbying over public health and sound science. Thankfully, after decades of tireless advocacy, a slow but significant shift has begun. The pressure from scientific bodies, health organizations, and consumer groups finally led to legislative changes. California's TB 117 was updated in 2013, shifting the focus from the foam to the outer fabric, thereby significantly reducing the need for chemical flame retardants in furniture. Federal legislation followed, with the Safer Occupancy Furniture Flammability Act, SOFA, being signed into law in 2020, establishing a national upholstered furniture flammability standard that largely mirrors the safer, updated California rule. This was a victory for public health, but it was a victory hard-won after immense and unnecessary harm had already been done. It underscores the immense power of sustained public pressure in the face of entrenched corporate interests. The secret law that, for decades, effectively made our homes hidden fire and health hazards is a stark and deeply troubling reminder of how powerful, well-funded corporate interests can corrupt the very governmental institutions meant to protect us. It's a systemic mega defect, a monumental failure where corporate profit was prioritized over people, leading to generations of unnecessary toxic exposure and tragic consequences, both immediate in fires and long-term in chronic illness. While some progress has been made, the fight for true transparency and safety is far from over. Understanding this hidden history, this profound betrayal of public trust, is not just about recounting past mistakes. It's the first crucial step towards advocating for stronger, genuinely effective fire safety standards, demanding full material transparency, and building safer, healthier homes for everyone. Were you aware of the pervasive history of chemical fire retardants in our homes and the laws that put them there? What other regulations do you suspect are heavily influenced by industry lobbying at the expense of public safety? Share your thoughts, your concerns, and any personal experiences in the comments below. If this expose sparked your concern for public safety and governmental accountability, hit that like button, share this video widely to warn others and spread awareness, and make sure to subscribe to Defect for more in-depth investigations into the hidden systems that subtly but profoundly fail us.